every new SaaS application needs an email communication provider. And sometimes your email communication provider could be the one that's actually hindering the success of your application. I'll show you that in this video. So I might have shared, or you might have seen that I'm actually working on a side project, a hobby application, which is to share collaborative tasks with your partners or friends or anybody, and then work on them simultaneously together as partners or friends or whatever you want to call them. And let me just so this was the application to-dos. And in the past stream, I shared that I actually revamped the entire API, made it Dockerized, improved and made the platform more stable. So every edge case was tested, properly tested and thoroughly, and then published to staging, and then from staging it goes to production. And I received a lot of complaints from customers, even my family, that they don't receive tokens, their passwords are not changing. If they change the password, they don't know if it's been changed, or they cannot access their accounts with it. So what's really going on? And so while I was updating the application, I sort of like reviewed, debugged the application code step by step to see, okay, how the data is flowing. And I realized that the logic is working perfectly. So for example, a request comes in, I can debug the express routers, and I can see that in the request body, the data is there, and then the data is properly processed. Once the operation is done, an email is sent out, and I'm even receiving a response from the email provider. I'm using SendGrid, and the SendGrid is telling me that, okay, the request was sent properly, of course, because it's a two-way thing. So first, SendGrid sends their request to their servers, and then from their servers they send the email to the customer or the recipients in this case. And that's when I thought, okay, you know what? Instead of just me reviewing my own code, why not I just go to the dashboard and see what's actually happening? Maybe are they even seeing the request or not? And that's when I found out that a lot of the requests are actually dropped. They're never sent. So I know, for example, these email addresses, they're fake. Doesn't make sense. Why should SendGrid send it to them? But for example, this is my own email address, and it still says it's blocked. And it's not that it's always blocked. Sometimes it's blocked and sometimes it's not blocked. It has nothing to do with the title, because we tested it thoroughly on the SMTP testers. So I personally use this website, and so I did the same thing. I used this account. For example, I used this email ID, sent the emails to it, and it said, okay, it's above 9. It's a solid score, right? And that's when I thought, okay, maybe I can review a little bit. So when I was reviewing, it says over here that the emails or the messages that were sent from this IP address are being dropped, and these are being dropped by the Outlook mail server itself. So mail.live.com, they're dropping all these email messages that are arriving from this IP address. So this IP address actually belongs to SendGrid, which is actually a service that I've bought out from Azure, Microsoft's service. And if you can see here, the reputation is also 99%. It's in a good, healthy condition. It's not like a spammy account. But then again, if I see the same thing, like this is another email address. So this is from my friends. So he also tried to create an account, and he also tried to use the application, but he never received the account verification token. And why did not receive the account verification token? Because the message was dropped. So it was received. So in the application, I was only able to receive this notification, which says received, and then processed comes afterward. And then 2 seconds later, it was bounced because Outlook decided not to accept emails coming from this IP address. And then this is a different IP address. So it's not that it's just this IP address that SendGrid is using, or something that is dedicated. I'm not using dedicated IP addresses because, of course, I'm not paying a lot to them. But then again, this is not the free account. I'm not using the free version of SendGrid. I'm paying them about 19-20 euros or dollars per month, and that's something, right? And I'm not sending like thousands, hundreds of thousands of emails. I'm roughly sending like 2,000, 3,000 emails per month, which again is not a large volume. Now, if you see, this is the same IP address, this is the same IP address, and then this one is a different IP address that again SendGrid allocated to this request. And then again, this was again refused from the Outlook servers. And then this one, so this IP address, for example, is from a different service that I also am working on. And this account was created, and this email was also rejected. And this time it was rejected from Gmail. So Gmail also has this IP address in their block list. So they will not accept any emails coming from this IP address, and so on and so forth. So the point that I'm trying to make here is that sometimes when you're building an application and you're sort of like communicating all these changes, you're sending out notifications to others, the bug is not in your application. Sometimes the limiter is like the last mile delivery provider, which you think sometimes is your trusted partner, but in some cases they're not really, because I think these were the trusted users that I saw were using the application, because they shared like how they were using the application, and how this one email hiccup has caused them a lot of issues. And this has not happened forever, but it just started happening. It could be one of the reasons because that this IP address from SendGrid was recently blocklisted, so that everyone is sort of like blocking their IP addresses. It could be that these are the shared IP addresses that my account recently was allocated to, but whatever. The point is, the email addresses or the email communication provider could be the one that's actually screwing you over and is preventing your application to sort of like reach that extra mile and deliver the service to the customer. So yeah, I'm actually disappointed with this whole IP address thing. I mean, of course, I'm not paying them for an enterprise license to get a dedicated IP address, but then again, I at least expect them to track that when one of their IP addresses is faulty, that they should at least try to compensate for it. If an IP address has been blocklisted, then at least don't use it, or use a different IP address. Or especially, for example, for accounts with like 99% reputation, or accounts that are in a healthy state, at least use better IP addresses or provide them with a better service. I think that's something that we can all at least demand, right? Yeah, thank you for watching. I'll share more updates in the channel.